An invitation to combat. Improve your Magic the Gathering gameplay with a deck library. Many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, how can I bring my gameplay to the next level? How can I improve my ability to play this game? One of the most integral methods is by building and training with a deck library, sometimes called a gauntlet, the proper use of which can not only make you a better player, but can even open up new possibilities of deck construction and improvement. Please note, the following video is an advanced modern instructional. However, the use of a deck library can be applied to all formats, including Standard, Legacy, Pauper, and others. Part 1. What is a deck library? Oftentimes referred to as a gauntlet, a deck library, as the name implies, is a collection of decks designed for testing the viability of a given deck within a particular format. Just going down to your local game store or getting together to play with your friends a couple times per week can only take your Magic skills so far. Why? Because you are limiting yourself to one small pool of decks to practice against. Many other decks within your format may not be properly represented. This is where a deck library comes in. By building a collection of the top decks from within the modern format, you will have the ability to sit down and test your deck against the full spectrum of possibility within the format. And since you and your training partner have 24/7 access to the deck library, you can practice much more often than just once or twice a week at your store's modern events. Part 2. How the hell am I supposed to afford that? Fortunately, a deck library's biggest cost is the time of construction, as well as a few packs of card sleeves. The first thing you need to do is plan which decks should be in your deck library. A great way to begin is to look at the tournament results for recent GPs. This will help you determine which decks are currently winning within the format and which ones are therefore important to train against. Now, if you own multiple decks already, or you have the financial means and desire to actually build half a dozen decks or more for your deck library, then by all means. But for the rest of us, a deck library is just for the purposes of practice. And so printing proxies is the economical way to go. As we discussed in the Introduction to Net Decking video, you simply need to copy and print card images, then cut out these proxy cards and sleeve them up using a plentiful Magic card such as a land or a common as the back. This will allow you to have a full library of $1,000 and up modern decks for just a few pennies of ink and paper, and a couple bucks worth of card sleeves. As I said, the biggest cost is the time of proxying so many decks. Part 3. Playtesting. Proper training and use of the library. Playing more often and against a full variety of decks is one of the most important ways in which to improve your ability to play. But that's not the only thing a deck library offers. Just as you need to exercise different muscles in order to strengthen the overall strength of your body, so too does playing against different decks strengthen your overall Magic game. By playing with the very decks you will come up against in your matches, you'll become better equipped to understand your opponent's likely strategy, where they are strongest and weakest, and how best to play your deck against theirs. Having access to a deck library means having access to regular matches both as and against the major decks of the format. Remember that a deck library is a living thing. You need to keep an eye on tournament reports, not only to see when new decks begin to perform well, but also to look at the ways in which existing decks might evolve and need upgrades. Again, this is why using proxies is so ideal for your deck library. If a new card is suddenly used successfully in an existing deck, you don't need to worry about having the funds to acquire it. Simply print it out and upgrade your library. Again, the biggest cost to building and maintaining a deck library is time. But since this is time spent studying the format, seeing what works and what doesn't, and slowly beginning to understand why, it is time well spent. In the end, owning and maintaining your own deck library doesn't just allow you to test out one deck's viability in a format such as Modern, but it also lets you learn the format better and become a better player in the process. I hope this video has been of some help to you. And this video has been brought to you by the generous support of patron alums at Patreon, and by the support of viewers like you. Thank you.